I don't care about politics. I care about money. Hi, guys. My name is Jeremy Dancer, and I am a hedge fund manager, Forex trader, Forex coach, and help people worldwide make money. If you'd like to join me, check out the link above. And trust me when I say this, you're going to need as many streams of income as possible when Trump takes over. People that follow me on how to make money with Forex. So I'm going to keep this video on business, but if you would like to know my personal opinion about the election, I will add that at the end of this video. What does a second term Trump presidency look like as it relates to money, the markets, and the economy? There are three main things that makes the US so strong. Number one, the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world. Number two, our relationships with other countries. And number three, the US has the world's best military. So if any of these three things fall apart, the US can quickly become very weak. Trump was reelected on the basis that he would be good for the economy and lower inflation. But what many people forget was that under Trump, we were all on lockdown due to COVID, and we couldn't go anywhere, and the demand for oil was at record lows, so gas prices were also at record lows, since people were either working from home or they were unemployed. Trump was in fact bad for the economy, but got lucky with inflation. But the real risk is the status of the US dollar as the reserve currency of the world. The tariffs Trump is planning to impose is causing countries like China and India to depreciate their currencies to adjust for higher costs. Organizations like BRICS, which is an acronym that stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are gathering more support from other countries to potentially replace the US dollar as the reserve currency of the world. They are already taking actions to stop using the US dollar in trade deals for oil and other things that we purchase worldwide, or other countries use worldwide. So instead of purchasing in US dollars, they can use other currency like euros or their own currencies for each of their countries. As Forex traders, we study the things that affect the currencies of the economies we trade, and a Trump presidency is a massive change to the US economy that will affect what happens in the world. Now, for those of you who don't understand what you're looking at, don't worry, I am going to explain it. But even better, join my program so that you can be part of the next greatest transfer of wealth and learn how to do this. All right, so back before the election, about a week or so before, you can see here that the US dollar was heading below 100. And when the US dollar drops below 100, that's usually when people start to get a little concerned. So when it started to look like Trump was going to win the election, that's when you started seeing the US dollar jump. And then, of course, when Trump won the election, the US dollar really took off. So you saw a huge jump in the stock market. You saw a huge jump in the US dollar, which is obviously something that makes a lot of people happy. But this is also very misleading because the smart money and most banks, hedge funds, and institutional traders are using this time period to make record profits before there is a major sell-off. Most of us who were trading and investing during Trump's first presidency, it was absolutely chaotic. So chaos brings volatility to the markets, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make a lot more money. So while everything is stable, while everything is calm, you're seeing a lot of people make record profits before Trump takes office. So many people are preparing for a major sell off when Trump takes office. And then we'll see the US dollar tumble, we'll see the stock market tumble, and we'll see massive sell offs all across the board. This is why Bitcoin is doing so well. With the US dollar not necessarily going to be so strong as people think it is, a lot of the smart money and institutional traders are putting their money into Bitcoin. We saw a massive sell off on gold, and a lot of that money went into the crypto market. Additionally, Trump has said that he wants to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the planet. So, with Elon Musk on board, this actually has a real chance of happening. And so many people are excited for crypto as a whole. And crypto is the future. I've been saying this a lot to people in my group. If you don't start learning how to use crypto and start putting a portion of your money into crypto assets, a lot of people, even people with six-figure incomes, are going to be poor overnight because they can't keep up with inflation. If you look at the US dollar, for example, and you just look at these gains real quick, you know, the gains on the US dollar really aren't, spectacular. So even if you have like a high interest yield savings account with the with the bank, you're only looking at maybe 4% per year if you're lucky. That's nowhere near enough to keep up with inflation. And with the stock market being unstable, you really can't even depend on that as well. So this is why Bitcoin is looking super attractive. Compare what we just saw with the US dollar to Bitcoin. So, people talk about Bitcoin, oh, it's not safe, it pulls back, it can shoot down, it can shoot up. But if you look at the gains, even a year, 147.28% return, 3 months, 52%, 1 month, 32%, year to date, 114%, 6 months, 29%, 1 week, 12.52%. And this is just keeping your money in a currency. You're not even having to invest it. All you have to do is just buy and hold. And this is so powerful. So many of us who are crypto investors, crypto traders, we really aren't experiencing inflation. I'm actually experiencing depreciation because I have a Coinbase debit card that I use to spend crypto. So when it comes to hedging against inflation, I have my Bitcoin, I have my Litecoin, I even have SHIB. SHIB is doing phenomenally well. If you look at the gains from SHIB, 196 percent year return, 145% year to date. I mean, this is massive. Uh, you're better off putting your money in SHIB than you are in US dollar. Like really think about this for a second and how powerful this is. And for those of us who have already made that transition, we're going to the grocery store, spending money, and then that money is coming right back to us every time the crypto makes a move. Yeah, there are times it pulls back, but you're still better off having your money in crypto than you are in the bank or a US bank. And then on top of that, I heard Trump is planning on removing capital gains taxes for people who have crypto. If that happens, oh my God. I mean, you can have better returns than the stock market and not have to pay tax on it. For those of us who have been trading or using crypto for a while, remember when there wasn't even taxes on crypto. But then when the Fed saw how much money everyone was making, all of a sudden they made gains with crypto taxable. So, a currency should not be taxed as capital gains. If anything, crypto should be treated like Forex. And this is also why Forex is so attractive. Unlike the stock market, the money you make in Forex is considered a return of interest. It's not considered a capital gain. If you have, let's say, pesos and you buy US dollars, and then if you sell US dollars into pesos and you have a gain in that transaction, that's not considered an investment. So it's not really taxable. And that's what makes Forex so powerful in terms of income stream because you can make a lot of money doing that trading Forex. And in a time like this where, the labor market has gone through a massive change under Trump, we have no idea what to really expect. This is a time to really start learning how to make money. And Forex is one of the easiest ways you can do that. That's accessible to everyone worldwide. Okay, so now I just want to give my opinion on the US election and just let you guys know where my head is at. When it comes to myself personally, the thing that I care most about is stability and a functioning government. Um, the past 4 years has been challenging in its own way, but it's been stable. We haven't had a lot of chaos that we saw when Trump was president, and we haven't seen like a civil war about to break out between everyone in the U.S. And we just haven't had chaos within the U.S. Now there are things with Biden that unfortunately I don't think he handled things with Russia correctly. I don't think he handled things in the Middle East correctly, and what's going on with Israel. Obviously, I think that's a issue for a lot of people. But it is what it is. But overall, things have been very stable, and I honestly believe Harris would have fixed the things that Biden did wrong. She would have been much stronger and tougher in the areas that he was weak on, and the things that he did right. I think she would have kept those things going, and I think as a whole, the U.S. would be better off. Now, under Trump, it's just really unfortunate because he is going to create an economy that is ideal for millionaires, billionaires, and people like myself who are traders, have hedge funds, and we're able to capitalize on what is happening in the markets. But the problem is the middle class is not in a position to be able to do that. People who are depending on salaries, wages, those people are going to be hit the hardest under Trump, and that's a large group of people. And when I voted for Harris, my vote wasn't necessarily in my own best interest. It was more in the interest for, okay, we know what is best for the entire US. And chaos is not the best for the US. It's good for a volatility in the markets. We should see huge moves in either direction, whether you're buying or selling. So there can be some historic opportunities coming up. But there's just so many dangers with a second term Trump presidency. not just for the fact that we now have a felon who would be a president, but the one thing I thought the U.S. was united on was being against dictators and fascism. So it's kind of scary in a way that Americans are so ignorant on history that we don't see what is coming. The rest of the world has tried every single thing that Trump is planning on doing. The US is the only country to go way, way back. You know, it's mind blowing how we got to this place to where, I guess our school systems has failed us. Italy tried it, Germany tried it. I guess Russia is still trying it with Putin, and Russia is a struggling country. Uh, so so I mean, it's unfortunate that we got to this place, but unfortunately we're here. And I try and talk about this in my private group about people have not seen real inflation until they have seen the US dollar devalue and depreciate. There is a major risk with Trump as the president where the US can lose its status as the reserve currency of the world. We can possibly be looking at a situation where the rest of the country has to form new alliances that do not involve the US. And they may decide, you know what, while we're at it, let's move on to making the euro the reserve currency of the world. Bitcoin. I think that's a stretch, but you know, anything is possible. And if that happens in the US, you want to talk about some serious inflation because so many of us are spoiled because the US dollar is so strong in comparison to every other currency. But paper currencies are becoming a secondary currency. So, the US dollar, euros, these are all paper currencies. But the world has really moved on to cryptocurrencies and digital money. So there are still a lot of people out there who refuse to move on to uh, digital currencies. They refuse to buy Bitcoin. They refuse to do anything that is outside of the norm. And a lot of these people are going to get wiped out under a Trump presidency. It's sad to see this happening. So many people are talking about inflation, and those people who are complaining about inflation are not using crypto. People who are using crypto are actually experiencing depreciation. If you've been buying Bitcoin ever since Bitcoin was at $20,000, you're not complaining about inflation because when you spend crypto like you would cash, you're getting all your money back and so much more. So, I have the ability to buy something. I get my cash back rewards in Bitcoin. And every time one of my assets goes up, that's just more money that I can use to hedge against rising costs. And because Bitcoin, Litecoin, SHIB, and so many other cryptocurrencies are outperforming the US dollar, I don't have to worry about inflation because my gains from holding on to crypto assets is much higher. And this is something that many Americans are not doing. And this is why so many people are complaining about inflation. But inflation is only a problem for people who are wage workers and have salaries and only live off of their paychecks. But people who are investors, are thriving. And then Trump mentioned how he wants to remove capital gains taxes for crypto. Even better. So there could be a potential that people like myself and people who invest heavily into crypto, who make most of their money that way, won't even have to pay taxes. Whereas people who are wage workers are going to not only experience rising costs, but their money also depreciating, which means their money is not going as far as it used to. And if the day comes where we lose the reserve currency of the world, it's going to wipe out a lot of people. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is the labor market has changed. There was a time where, businesses paid top dollar, they wanted full-time employees. And, there was just plenty of these types of jobs out there that paid well. Now, what we're starting to notice in terms of the labor market is most of the full-time jobs with benefits are government-based. From the private sector, businesses are getting smarter and realizing, we only need to hire people for specific tasks. We don't need to have a full staff of employees that we're paying a fortune for. We can pay people, a fixed amount just to do little things for us. But it's just these types of things that's happening more and more in regards to the labor market. So, for people who are not, doctors or engineers or have, really have jobs that are really needed, it's going to experience a very tough time. That's just my thoughts on the election and where I'm at. It's going to be a very interesting 4 years, I think. And that's even if Trump can survive 4 years. I think he's going to have a very tough time. If we look at history and how history has dealt with dictators, normally what happens, what we have learned anyway, is that dictators have a lot of losses and their own people start to turn on them. So I think Trump is going to have a lot of losses, and then it's going to be his own people that actually turn on him more so than the Democrats. Because a lot of people who voted for Trump are expecting stimulus payments all over the place. I saw someone say PPP loans for everybody. And I was just like, why? These people are not going to do this again. That stimulus package that we got under Trump's first term was a one-time deal. So there are many people who are expecting this to happen. And when it doesn't happen, and I think his supporters are going to get hurt the most, I think we're going to see a massive change from the Republican Party, a massive change from the MAGA supporters, and who knows what will happen when that happens. But anyways, that's my opinion on everything. Thank you for checking out this video. Thank you for checking out my channel. And I hope everyone has a blessed 2024. I can't believe we're almost to the end of this year. It's mind-blowing how fast time is flying by. All right. Please follow me, and I will do my best to help provide good information that you can use to make money with. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Take care.